What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol WKHS for Workhorse Group. On the left-hand side, we're looking at the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, we have the 30-minute intraday time frame. This, of course, will be more of an update since we literally covered it yesterday, but clearly there's been a major development to the chart with this large red-bodied candle, large upper wick, huge selling volume. What's going on with this thing? Well, clearly there was a catalyst, and that catalyst has to do with an SEC investigation. As you know, I'm not a fundamental analyst, so although that is a catalyst, we're going to focus on price action and actionable things we can actually do here instead of just speculating on potential news. So all things considered, in yesterday's video we were really pounding the table about this support trend line being the guiding factor here inside of Workhorse. If we remained above it, have a bullish outlook. If we remain underneath it or start breaking down underneath, kind of look out below, right? Because we technically are, if we scrunch this chart up a bit, in a short-term downtrend here from the daily perspective. I would even argue if we scrunch this up more, obviously it hasn't been so hot essentially since the beginning of 2021. So all things considered, you always have to keep in mind the, overall context of the trend. So that's first of all, and because we did break that very short-term support trend line that we discussed, you should now have more of a bearish outlook here inside of Workhorse. If you're someone who has a set it and forget it strategy, I would wait until the dust settles here on the catalyst to see if you can find an entry point that suits your needs. But for now, I would be looking for downside continuation into 9 the whole dollar and sort of our floor in place here. Maybe there's also a bump in the road. You can split the difference between some of these. Let's actually take a look from the 30-minute intraday perspective first. Let's do this, okay? So we'll adjust our level down slightly to take into account more of these lower wicks here. We're not going to cherry pick the exact low at 868, but if we start breaking down underneath $8.87, it's kind of, due for a bit more of a breakdown. And in my opinion, we would head to our next major area of daily support, which is down here at $8, the nice round number. And scrunching this chart up, you can see that that's also being kind of generous and splitting the difference from this major pivot low that we had in the past. If $8 goes, then you're essentially looking for prices to come down here towards $7.50. At that point in time, if we get into either of those targets, look for this to turn into a bit more of an overreaction, in which case we're looking for hammer candles, any indecision dojis, basically anything that would make you question, is this short-term panic starting to come to an end? Can we flip long over the highs and work our way back up into some of the upside targets that we had mapped out from yesterday's video? Real quick, I do want to just talk about today's price action. How was it? Was it strong? How was the close? So on and so forth. As you know, we always do that through the lens of Fibonacci. Clearly, to the upside, the first opening drive higher this morning was actually quite strong. You can see on the pullback, it essentially held structure here and the 50% right around $10.10. But after that, when the announcement sort of came out, it was kind of like everything went out the window. So let's do from our breakdown high to the low here. And as you can see on the rebound, we did get a candle close above the 61.8, but the fact that we didn't retrace 100% up here to the high of the breakdown, and we instead went on to make a low very comparable to the low of the day, I would argue that's showing an extreme, sign of weakness, essentially, that sellers are willing to hammer this hard and the buyers are not willing to step in just yet on the announcement that the SEC is investigating here. So again, the strategy is if you're a buy and hold or sort of a set it and forget it type investor, you need to let the dust settle. If you're someone who's willing to take an active position here, be on the lookout for some continued volatility as that sort of happens. But as you know, my levels are as follows: 8 to the downside and then 750. Those would be the first places I would start to look for any type of reversal. If there is a move to the upside, these are overhead targets. As we know, nothing has changed from yesterday, but I wouldn't be looking for that quite yet. So if you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.